used to get rewarded for being flexible with my writing. But that really only works when you're writing about what's exactly in front of you. That responsiveness helps. It's great. It helps capture the emotion, the feel, all of that. Not so great when you're trying to write your first novel. I'm Makensi Grant, and I'm trying to stop being a pantser. As I've been trying to write the first draft of my Feminine Rage novel, I keep coming up with the same problem. No matter how many times I set a new writing schedule, I set up a fun writing day, I make plans to write for 5 hours, or set myself up for a challenge where I try to crush a whole novel in a month, I keep coming back to the same issue over and 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 over again. What I'm doing just isn't working. So after many trial and error, I did what I always do. I ran to books. Lisa Crone's Story Genius was my first attempt at wrangling my thoughts into words. Story Genius is a book that came up for me a lot while I was doing research on how to prep myself to write a novel, from other people that I was working with as well. So I thought, what the hell? Getting into it though, I'd have to say my feelings about it are kind of mixed. On one hand, it did help me develop a pretty strong emotional background for my main character and her sister and why they're so at odds. I also got roughly 5 chapters of an outline together, not anything full length, but like several story threads. That's good. And it also forced me to answer questions on why I was writing the piece I was writing. However, I dreaded reading it. Every time I sat down to read the book, it felt like a chore. And a lot of this comes down to the example she uses. For me, it was hard to connect to. The story was simple, and honestly, I was a bit bored by it. Because of that, I struggled maintaining my interest as the book went on. The first few chapters are a lot more structured and they have more of a guideline that you follow. You're answering questions, you're asked to think about certain points, and then it takes what you've done and builds on it. As the book goes on though, it loses that structure. Personally, I feel like I would have liked more instructions on how to take the 5 chapters I got into something else. I felt the weakest part is the part that I am struggling with the most, and it's where do I take it from here? But the real problem is, after I finished Story Genius, I still felt stuck. Getting back to writing has been a hard journey for me. I used to love writing as a student. I loved it so much that I made myself a career out of it and went to be a journalist, even though it wasn't the best fit for me. But then I left it all and spent time in jobs where the only type of writing I was doing was circling back in emails. I needed something that was going to help me move past this insecurity. And that's why I started Story Genius in the first place. But even with the guidelines and the chapters, I did get a lot done. I still felt like I was looking for something. And it's a big something. The willpower to finish.